It's now November 11th, 2020. November 2nd, 2025. And so there's a special, actual nodal time that I have to document. And even though I was last considering the example of my Uncle Dave Finko, because I did another one just before this one and I named it Finko. Because I know other people called him Finko. There's really not that many people with the last name Finko. I only knew my Uncle Dave and his family. That's the only Finkos I ever knew. I knew other people from a lot of other names, only had one name too. Just like my own name. I never actually met anybody with my name, but I see that there's other people with my actual name online. It's not me. So, it's kind of funny to think, man, that like I could have made it through this whole world and only had been the only person in this world to have my name. Almost. But it didn't quite happen that way. Look, I even went for a long time, even before I even ever met anybody with my first name. But, look. Okay, my Uncle Dave Finko, who, when you think about it, he knew, the same people all the way back from when people were young in his day. Like my Uncle Jerry, my dad, Don, my, who else was there? Well, I don't know, anybody that lived in Valparaiso. I don't really know where they all met, but it was around that neck of the woods, somewhere out in that way of Indiana. And Wisconsin, I guess. I mean, everybody must have had ties to Wisconsin because that's where they all moved from Indiana to Wisconsin. And they're not that separated by that much. But look, the deal is, I understood from my Uncle Dave's lesson to me about dying. And I'm just going to say right now that I did put on a video on YouTube and I called it Dying Pain. And I think it was about sport. I don't know what I said in that video, but it was for my journal. And YouTube said it didn't meet their standards or something. Copyright. I probably put on there a little bit of that Bob Dylan's Hollis Brown song. Maybe Bob Dylan has made a fuss about, people listening, taking his stuff for free and everything. I don't know. I mean, look, I have purchased. I mean, it doesn't seem like Hollis Brown. I mean, I have Hollis Brown. I got it all the way from when I was over in Turkey on cassette tape. Bootleg, Bob Dylan, bootleg. Hollis Brown on the back tapes video, on the back tape sessions or whatever. Anyway, I knew a story about Hollis Brown. Lived on the outskirts of town with his 5 children and his wife in a cabin broken down. That was Hollis Brown. And then by the end of the song, there's 7 shotgun shells, 7 shots rang. Hollis Brown killed his family and killed himself. Because he had to let everybody down easy and quit suffering. I think because Hollis Brown was a monster, wanted to kill his family. Look, man, there comes a time, but on the flip side of that, you know, because that is a fine line between making a benevolent mistake and making a foolish mistake. But look, I hear Sport calling, all right, and I know the Sport went before the other troops that I have left that he knew and everything like that, and I know what the ranking was and all that kind of stuff. And so Sport kind of told me that, you know, look, man, there's no skin off his nose. He's camping out. He's camping out. He's waiting for the troops, you know. They can take their time because, look, you know, he's kind of told me that, you know, take all the time you need. And the other thing, you know, is that, you know, I feel like, you know, like Sport used to run around the whole yard, man. You get excited, man. He'd do a big rip around the whole yard over at Bill's house, you know. I remember. And come back to where he just started from, where I gave him that piece of meat. And he gets so excited, man. He'd run around the whole yard. And then he'd come right back to that spot. And he wouldn't take them piece of bone or meat with him that I gave him on that meat bone, you know. You do it there, and he would take off and run all the way around the yard, come right back to that spot, man, just proving to me like he got all that energy. Bam, he's got to let that go, and bam, that's what that means. Oh, it's Sport, you know, and it's hard to see him suffer and everything. I had to take him in. I couldn't see him not eating no more. It was time. He told me it was hard for me to accept the fact. But I did. And now I'm accepting the fact. You know. But I'm thinking, like, you know, Sport told me, look, man, he said, don't be in too big of a hurry. You know. Their time will come again, okay? They can maybe go on. Like, maybe I might just take Boomer into the vet instead of taking him, Boomer and Sally both in and having them put down. Because maybe I can, look, I gave him that cast kind of made out of styrofoam and tape. And he's not chewing it off. So he's not telling me that, you know, he just wants to go. He's not telling me that. He's saying I might be able to fix them up a little bit. And they can last a little bit longer. And so what I'm thinking that I'm hearing is, and it would be in line with everything, you know, it's decent and in order, like everything that I know from, not trying to be overly melodramatic or whatever, but my uncle, okay, his standards, I know them, and by example I'm saying, you know, okay, like he went out and changed the muffler in his truck. All right, that's a big enough example for me. And if I can put a cast on Boomer's leg and he can survive, then, but I'm gonna see what a professional has to say. It probably will x-ray him. I probably will pay the money, but it'll all be worth it in the end. And so, you know, in the end is what I'm gonna call this one. And because look, hey, see, look, only a bone. And so this guy's kind of guy to say it'll be worth it in the end, because look, you only get this. Look, boom is getting up, man. Look, I'm just gonna push it a little bit harder, because the thing I want to say is, look, you, my grandchildren, your troops will follow you to the end. Just like your dogs. Like my dogs will follow me to the end. They'll do whatever I tell them to do. If I tell them it's time for you to go home, okay, then they will accept that and be okay with it, because, look at Boom. Look. Hey. Look, he's trying hard. And even though that's only a star from cast I made him taped up, look. Look, he's breathing hard and everything like that. I think he still wants to live. I don't know what this had to do with anything, but I was gonna like, here, I don't know, let me see. Okay, here, watch.
This house after Trump went around his back, got this house. Epstein began to threaten him. He began to threaten him with lawsuits. He began to threaten him with going to the press and saying that Trump was a front man for a money laundering deal. Trump panics at this point, and Epstein believed, and he believed to his dying day, that it was Trump who went to the police, Trump who was fully acquainted with what was going on at Epstein's house, fully acquainted for many years. Trump went to the police and, as Epstein said, dropped the dime on him. That is to say, informed the police of what was going on, and an investigation began, and all of Epstein.
And I want to mark on this day, all right? I found out today that the whole thing, the whole cover-up for the Epstein thing is because of money laundering. See, it ain't even because of the little girls. Not because of the young women. That's not even what the important thing is, that the whole cover-up is. No, that means nothing, okay? Because after all, it's just a little bit of suffering, okay? Taking it up the ass. If you're a boy, taking it up the ass if you're a girl, or taking it up the... I don't want to be too graphic of making things that won't pass on YouTube. But if you get the idea of assault, but that ain't even it. They don't care about it. They don't even care about that. Wow, what an eye-opener. They don't even care about that. What they care about is the money laundering. That's the big case for the FBI, money laundering. They can't open that up, because if it opened up anything about money laundering, oh, that would be a bad, bad thing. Money laundering, because look at all that money. Even the Bible says money answers everything. Well, I don't know what I want to bring that up for. But before I decided to make this last journal entry, because I know it's going to be the last one, because I got to do some heavy contemplation about tomorrow. Because I'm thinking that maybe if I take Boomer in, maybe they'll put a real cast on him. And like, maybe I won't have to have surgery or nothing like that, and just put a cast on him, and I don't know, even if it's stiff, I mean, not like he's gonna mind too much. I'll have more time with him and Sally and my own self. Because if I let go of those two, then I'd be down to 4 dogs. I mean, yeah, 4 dogs. Yeah. T and Bonnie, Rip and Goldie. And time goes by quick. So that's why I think sports saying, man, you can take your time. So I might just call this one Sports Saying. He's telling me it's all good. And my dogs give me reassurance they will follow me to the end no matter what. And if I say, okay, man, I'm putting you on leave right now, like, you know, enjoy yourself, you know. Okay, next transition, I accept it by faith. They'll follow me to the end. But, you know, I also heard, you know, sports saying to me, you can take your time. That's what he's saying to you too, my grandchildren, you know. You can take your time. That's what I'm going to call this one, taking your time. Take your time. Because you just gotta appreciate it for everything that it is. And with the confidence, I think, you know, like sport, going all the way around and coming back to where he started. We're going to go all the way around and come back to where we started and know it for the first time. Again, for real. That line comes with T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot, you know. Going all the way around and coming back to where he started and knowing it for the first time. Like, you know, because it's a deja vu kind of deal. Like, you've been here before? Well, you probably have been here before. No, we're in it for the long haul. And so, you know, don't get off track and everything like that. Anyway, it's a very hard day for me of considerations of destinies and things coming to an end. So this is where I'm kind of making my stand. And look, one last picture of Boomer. Hey. All right, that's it.